We're in the showbiz capital of the world. The fans know something special is about to erupt. It is time for the Pirelli World Challenge Championships at Long Beach. Revs coming up. We're green.
Big move coming off the 3.
2, 3, 4 abreast in some spots.
Side-by-side action.
He absolutely nailed it.
Three-way battle.
And we've got an incident. You would expect nothing less.
Oh, clips the inside apex.
Very racy.
This is going to get interesting.
That is a brave move. What a pass. This is what World Challenge is all about.
Glitz, glamour, history, above all, prestige. You bet. We're back at Long Beach for the legendary Roar by the Shore, the 39th running of this legendary street course race. It's time for round 3 of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships, the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Creamer. And you know, for a driver, there's 2 races in particular you want to win. Your home race, always, but you also want to win at Long Beach. It's the history, the prestige of this place is outstanding. The Pirelli World Challenge is here with the GT and GTS classes, combined over 40 cars, 15 plus manufacturers represented on the grid for an intense battle that is going to unfold very shortly. As a matter of fact, calm on the waters of the lagoon here, but just a few feet this way inside the concrete canyons, it is about to get crazy. Join me with the call, as always, is my broadcast partner. We're going to get up to the booth with a visit and a hello from Calvin Fish. Hey, bud.
Thanks, mate. Such a treat to be back at Long Beach, of course. Such history, awesome atmosphere, and it's the one race on the schedule that every driver wants to win. This is the big one. Now, after the doubleheader weekend at St. Pete, there are some fantastic scenarios that are developing from both classes, and I can't wait to see this awesome field do battle this afternoon on this awesome street circuit. Well, Long Beach is the ultimate street party with so many cool events all week. Getting it kick-started was Thursday, Thunder on Pine. We sent our man on the street to ask the fans a few questions about Volvo.
Name the car company that is actually Latin for I roll.
Latin for I roll?
I don't know.
German, you said, or was that Latin? Audi. Porsche, maybe?
Volvo!
Oh, really?
That makes sense.
Since 2009, what car brand has won the most Pirelli World Challenge GT races?
I would guess Porsche. Chevrolet. Porsche.
Volvo.
Ah, Volvo.
This car company once raced station wagons in various parts of the world. Today, in the Pirelli World Challenge, it races a sedan against sports cars and coupes.
Nissan.
Chevrolet. Volvo.
I was going to say that, but...
So you got that Volvo station wagons, obviously.
If members of the musical group ABBA were cheering on their nation's favorite car brand, who would it be?
Cadillac?
Nissan. Audi for 500. Volvo? Am I right? All right, cool.
Yeah.
It's Volvo, actually. I knew that. Pretty much.
Mamma mia, it's time to get to our Moat Tool race analysis. And again, starting grid, 37 cars. I talked to the top, it was 40. We had a couple incidents in practice and qualifying that reduced the field a little bit. Beautiful weather, Cal.
It's a perfect day, Greg. The IndyCar race just finished. The crowd is pumped up, as you can see. Lots of rubber down. It's going to be a fast racetrack this afternoon.
And the racetrack, 11 turns, basically 2 miles. Lap records from 2011, Pat Long in GT, Paul Brown in GTS. There's a look at the front of the grid as we are about ready to get going. But we've got some great storylines for our Pirelli storylines presented by Volvo coming up. One, Aston Martin making a entry into the series. 2 cars, one for this guy, Brandon Davis, the HP Adobe Road Winery car, former champion, 2-time winner here. Damian Faulkner in the Vizio Hulu Plus entry, a very fast Irishman. This guy, Lasse Naschenbach, he's going to be a weary man.
He is. He's bouncing from coast to coast, also running at Road Atlanta this weekend. His frequent flyer status has gone from gold to platinum in this weekend alone.
Unbelievable. James Safronis on pole, won the most recent round 2 at St. Pete. He's got momentum. Can he bring it home again here? This is his home race. It's a biggie. Now it's time for our Motul GTS Pole Award winners. That is Andy Lee, and that is a great pole time, a new qualifying record. Top 5 underneath the old record, by the way, in the GTS category. These Pirelli tires doing a great job. And a bit earlier, Jeff Lepper caught up with our pole sitter.
So Andy Lee got the pole position, put a lap down. Tell us about that lap.
The first couple laps, there was a group of trucks out there running, and they laid down some nasty marbles. And during those first few laps, it was all over the place. I was sideways in almost every corner. And the best we could put down was like a 20, a high 28. And I thought, man, we were in third when a red flag came. I was like, that's about all I got. But when we went back out, I decided to put one more down. I actually clipped the wall coming out of turn 11 onto the main straightaway. I thought that would have ruined the lap, and I was astonished, man. When I came across the line, I looked down, I was like, no way. So I think it's going to be a long day in tech. I think they're going to be looking at us pretty close today. But, it was a fun time. It was good to be out there.
Long Beach is a challenge you certainly relish. James Sifronis relishes racing at essentially his home race. And in qualifying, first it was Popes, then it was Figge breaking the record, and then last lap, after the checkers had fallen, Sifronis came through, set a new track record as well, top 2 underneath the old track record, and that gave James the Motul Pole Award, and earlier, Jeff Lepper found him as well.
James, man, pole position. Tell us about that last lap.
Well, it was kind of the perfect storm. The track was clear. My tires were coming up to temp and pressure. I went in to check one more time. We actually had a problem with the steering wheel. We had to switch the steering wheel in qualifying. So I went out. There was one car on the track. He let me by. And then my guy said, you got to do it now. And we're finding that the Audi is better when the tires are warmer and the car is warmer. So we knew we were going to do it at the end of the session. And I pushed like heck. I mean, there are a couple corners I was a few inches off the walls on the exit, just trying to drive out of the corners. And then it's all about deep braking. I mean, here you make up time on the 2 hard brake zones, on the back straight and then Shoreline Drive. And the Audi has amazing brakes, and that was the difference. And we're excited. We want to win this one again. This is a big one for us. So I was pushing 100%.
Well, brakes are key at Long Beach, no doubt. Our defending GT and overall race winner is a guy named Andy Pilgrim, driving that Cadillac right there. Every corner on a street course is key, and certainly that applies at Long Beach. So Andy's giving us our Cadillac key corners. Enjoy the ride.
Long Beach, this is the front straightaway, and it is a corner. We basically pick up quite a bit of G-force through this turn. We're flat out here, maybe up to 160 miles an hour, braking uphill to turn 1. We've got a 5.43 200 there. You hit it hard up the hill. Left-hander here, turn 1. It's a steady state corner. Then you come through the famous fountain area. Through the fountain, on the power out here, fighting for grip out of there. This is an off-camber, right-hand turn, turn 4. It's a little tricky, concrete everywhere, no tires. Very much off-camber here, exit turn 5. Upsets the car when you go over the top of that. Then you got a straightaway down here to turn 7. 7 is, again, a left-hander, opens out big time. Little lock up there, opens out big time. You come down, up over the hill, down to turn 8. Turn 8 has some good curbing on the inside, tires on the outside. You really want to carry good speed here. This is the second longest straightaway. Back straightaway, up to top of 5th gear down here. And we are coming into the brake zone. Excellent passing place down here to the right and even on the left sometimes. Flat corner, did some resurfacing, really grips pretty well. Coming through long left-hander to the very famous Long Beach hairpin, which is actually turn 11. And you come in wide. You got to make sure you don't hit the wall on the exit. And we are back onto the front straightaway. And that is your Cadillac key corners from Long Beach.
What a great circuit. There's a look at the sharp end of the grid, and it tells a bit of a story there, Kel.
It does. You got Sifronis on the pole there in the Audi. That car does not have launch control at the moment. And he's got those 2 Volvos right behind him that certainly do. So look for some fireworks here at the start today.
And this crowd loving Pirelli World Challenge racing at Long Beach, and nobody loved World Challenge more than Paul Brown. It is a team, it is a driver, it is a remarkable man. Sorely missed.
You run across people in racing that are special, that have personality, that have kindness, and that are giving. And Paul was a guy that represented all the best qualities, not just of racers, but of people in general.
It's definitely a great loss for the motorsport industry, especially the Mustang industry with Ford. He was just a great racer, a guy I really respect and look up to.
He was a tough competitor, absolutely, but always respected each other on the track, and it was a huge loss for his family and for our series.
Off the track, we were just doing some pictures. He'd be in the background, making some funny faces.
One thing that people tell me about Paul Brown is he makes the best pictures. Any car pictures they want, they always want the Paul Brown pictures because typically 2 wheels are off the ground. The car is sideways going through a corner.
He was one heck of a seat of the pants, hang it out driver. One time I actually slowed down to watch him do a couple of corners. His competitive spirit is what World Challenge is all about. He hung it out, but he won races. And he's the kind of driver that this series needs, and it's a little bit less shiny without him.
This sport lost a real talent and a real guy, and just a great person.
We lost Paul this offseason, but there was nothing more he enjoyed in life than going racing in the Pirelli World Challenge. So we can best honor him, and our hearts will go out when the lights go out and we go racing at Long Beach when we come back. The Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being brought to you by Sunoco Race Fuels, fueling victories for 5 decades. By the Cadillac V-Series, the 556 horsepower CTSV coupe, sedan, and wagon, the world's fastest family of cars. And by Pirelli, power is nothing without control. Welcome back to the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia. This is an event, and it is, of course, the Hollywood celebrities. That atmosphere is absolutely effervescent here. Hollywood is the home of one Tommy Dreese, one of the long supporters of this series, racing at Long Beach for a long time. Out for the weekend due to a wreck, but Jeff Lepper caught up with Mr. Hollywood.
Well, Tommy Dreese in the Epic the Movie LG Motorsport Chevy Corvette had some problems in qualifying. Tommy, you're done for the weekend. Tell us how it happened.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't even get to qualifying. It was the practice before qualifying, and you always try to hold back a little bit. They can't fix the car in 5 minutes for qualifying. So, the Epic Corvette LG Motorsports, it was really fast. We were just a few tenths off of skiing, and, we just said, let's just push this car just a little bit more, see what we got, and I went through turn 5. There's a couple of rumble strips there, and still trying to figure. I haven't seen the tape yet, but looks like I may have broke something in the front, or maybe I just ran out of talent. So that happens sometimes.
Well, a street circuit can certainly bite you, to be sure. And keep in mind that there is a key corner on every one of our tracks, and here the Motul braking zone. It's a no-brainer, Cal.
Is down into turn 1. This is where a lot of the overtaking will take place here today. First of all, the cars are literally screaming along Shoreline Drive here, about 160 miles an hour. Then it's really a test of man and machine to get the car well down for turn 1. You see the braking markers there, 300, 200, and 100, but probably around the 200 marks where they're going to be hitting the brakes. Then it's really critical. You get that car turned in. There's a tire bundle out to the outside there. It catches out a lot of people, so turn-in point is really critical. You have to have the car balanced under brakes.
And you can see where the line is. Everything else out there, that's not good. So keep that in mind. Let's get down to the front of the grid. Tom Gravalos with Pirelli for that special command.
On behalf of Kia Motors, North America, Optima Battery, and Pirelli Tires, racers, start your engines.
That is a wonderful sound as some 15 manufacturers fire up on the grid here at the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia. There is a look at the Cadillac pace car. Cadillac, a great partner of this series, providing that beautiful official pace car. Also have the safety and medical chase car as well. It's fantastic, and we are very fortunate to have great partners like that. It's now time to take a look at the starting lineup. As we talked about, an amazing lap and a new track record on pole. James Sofronis, the Global Motorsports Group Mobil 1 Audi, joined by Alex Figge in the K-Pax Volvo. On the next row, it is teammate to Figge, the Volvo of Randy Pobst, and Duncan Endy, a great run up to 4th in qualifying in his Merchant Services stand Audi. Then we go to row number 3, Johnny O'Connell in the Cadillac Racing entry, and Alex Welsh in the Spider Lasso Global Motorsports Group Audi. Moving to row number 4, it is the other Cadillac of Andy Pilgrim, the defending race winner, and Mike Skeen in the Hawk Performance Chevrolet Corvette has been very quick in the practice sessions. Moving back to row 5, Tim Pappas in the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles Mercedes-Benz AMG SLS GT3, carrying Boston Strong on the car. More on that. And Brett Curtis in the United Steel Supply Spectre Resources Audi. And then we go to row number 6. It is Craig Stanton, a Long Beach resident of the Racing for Our Heroes Loctite Porsche, joined by Brent Holden, the Global Motorsports Group Porsche 997. And in the final row of GT, it is Tim Bell, the rookie in the Hawk Performance Nissan GTR. Cal, tell us about GTS.
It's the second GTS pole of the year for the talented Andy Lee in the Bondurant Crown 7 Best IT Camaro, alongside Kevin Gleason in the Napleton Porsche Cayman, making his Long Beach debut. On row 10, it's 7-time series champ Petey Cunningham in the real-time Acura TSX. And next to him, 2-time series champ and a busy boy this weekend, Lawson Oschenbach in the Black Dog Speed Shop Camaro. Next up, it's championship leader and defending Long Beach race winner Jack Baldwin in the Motul StopTech Fumatex Porsche Cayman, and last year's Motorsport race winner Mark Wilkins in the first of the Kia Optimas. On row 12 is Nick Kasayan, who just missed a podium here last year in the real-time Acura TSX, and a 2-time Long Beach race winner Brandon Davis in the HP Adobe Road Winery Aston Martin Vantage. On row 13 is rookie Jim Taggart in the Lotus USA Lotus Exige and former series champ Lou Gilotti in his LG Motorsports Chevy Camaro. Next row is Tony Gables in the second of the Black Dog Speed Shop Camaros and Brad Adams in the Voodoo Dat Dog Yo MTV Raps Boss 302S. Leading row 15 after a big hit in qualifying, it's Dane Moxlow driving the Trenton Forging Steeder Autosports Boss 302 alongside Mark Clennon in the Champ BMW M3. The second of the best IT Camaros lines up next, driven by Harry Curtin alongside Rick Boucher in the Mutual SPL Sparco Nissan 370Z. On row 17, look for fireworks from the very talented Damien Faulkner driving the Vizio Hulu Plus Aston Martin Vantage for TRG, next to Bill Ziegler driving the Swisher Racing GMG Pontiac Solstice. Artie Topi leads row 18 in the Ford Mustang, making his series debut, Eric Davis in the always evolving Autotopia Boss 302S. Baz McCall lines up next in the second of the Motul StopTech Fumatex Porsche Caymans alongside Roger Rodas from El Salvador in the backup Ford Mustang 302S after a crash in practice. Final row, former touring car winner here, Robert Stout, continues to work out the bugs on their TRD Lucas Oil E3 spark plug Scion, and Nick Johnson plays tail gunner after a motor change following qualifying in his Kia Motors Optima.
Should be fun to watch him run up to the front. There is our Cadillac official safety vehicle. It is the chase vehicle should there be any incidents. And you can see on board Dick Lubatina and Bob Thompson, a couple of very, very talented paramedics that are such an asset to this series as well. And so fortunate to be able to drive that Escalade. Coming up next, it's race time here in the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia. Round 3 of the GT and GTS Pirelli World Challenge Championship classes. And we are closing in on the start of the race, and it's time for our GoPro Kia Quad Box.
Going to see some great footage here today. Bill Ziegler line up 18th in GTS in his Swisher Racing Pontiac. Dane Moxlow lines up 13th in GTS class in his Mustang. And then Brent Holden, 12th in GT today for the GMG Porsche. And Alex Welsh up on the third row, 6th with his Spider Lasso GMG Audi.
We are looking forward to some of those exceptional images from those GoPro cameras mounted on these cars as we are about to go racing. It is the 39th running of the Roar by the Shore, 8th straight year that the Pirelli World Challenge has been here. As always, folks, when those red wheel and lights go out, we go racing. Watch for it, we're green! Oh, and a great start as you'd expect by the Volvo, but one of those cars absolutely laid back. That's Pope's, Cal.
Pope's is struggling there a little bit. I think Duncan Endy didn't really get a great start either. So Sofronis, we expected, got a little bit of wheel spin. O'Connell, a great start already up to third. Look at this. That's skiing down the inside, forcing this on Andy Pilgrim. He gives him some room. Good heads-up driving there.
Mike Skeen has been racing from the get-go here, and that was a great launch. Oh, Welch a little wide. Keeps it off of the tires in that red and black Spider Lasso Audi and is able to continue on. But right away, look at Johnny O'Connell. He is going after it early, Cal.
He has got the heat on Sofronis right now. They did some testing at Sebring just last week, and the caddies look to be in form here this weekend. He wants to get to the front early. He loves Long Beach. He's won here before in ALMS. He wants victory here today. But look at this. Figgy is taken off.
Boy, and O'Connell up to third. One of the things they really worked on in that testing was the launch, and look at that beautiful exit, Cal.
Sofronis is struggling, Greg. He just doesn't seem to get the car turned in at this point. Maybe his tire temperatures or whatever, but he doesn't have the front end hooked up on the Audi right now.
O'Connell taking a peek as Sofronis just defensive enough to keep O'Connell behind. One of the things Sofronis has said, this car gets better the longer the run with more heat in the tires. I think you might just be spot on there. And look at that. Now Skeen is run right up there as well as Andy Pilgrim. Then a little bit of a gap back to Craig Stanton in that Racing for Our Heroes Loctite blue Porsche.
Yeah, he's a local boy. He cycled to the racetrack this weekend. He doesn't even need a rental car to get here, so a great early start for him. But up front, Figgy has taken off. Sofronis is feeling the heat from Johnny O right behind him, Skeen, then Pilgrim, and then you see Stanton now under attack down. Oh!
Little bit wide there.
Sofronis was wide there. We talked about getting the car turned in. Johnny O forces the issue into the fountain turn. He is through and up to second.
Yeah, Johnny O jumping on that opportunity. And again, Sofronis, as you said, struggling. Now Skeen all over the back. Can he do something here into turn 5?
Oh, look at this. Sofronis is wide again. Sofronis is really struggling. I'm not sure if they've changed the setup on the race car, Greg, for the green flag here today, but he does not seem to have the pace that he had in qualifying so far.
He's happen to have the inside. Skeen going to try and stay put around the outside. Can't get it done, and he's got to be a little careful of Andy Pilgrim. Andy going to do the wide in, maybe tight out, try and get the drive, and Skeen sensed that coming. nice adjustment by Mike Skeen, as you would expect in that Hawk Performance Corvette. This is great stuff.
This is awesome. Johnny O is now taken off. He's chasing down Figgy. Sofronis in defense mode right now.
And look at Welch making the move and getting around Stanton in the background in that Spider Lasso entry, making up a spot as well. There is O'Connell, and of course in front of him, Figgy is gone right now. Best battle, this one for third.
Well, the problem for Sofronis is if the front end isn't working, he's defending by running a shallow entry to these corners. That's just going to aggravate that issue.
Watching as these guys continue, it is time to take a look at our Optima batteries best standing start, and it is a series rookie, Roger Rodas, in the GTS category in that always evolving entry. That is a car that Paul Walker from the Fast and Furious franchise loaned him to be able to make the race after the crash, and he gets the Optima batteries best standing start. Great story.
That's an awesome performance by Roger. His only laps have been in qualifying with that race car, so it's unfamiliar to him. So he's doing a great job so far in the early stages.
We're on board for a moment. There's phenomenal shots from GoPro with Andy Lee, who is our pole sitter and current leader in the GTS category, that Crown 7 Bondurant Best IT Chevy Camaro. Now let's take a look at the iBox suspension cam. This is on P.D. Cunningham, the legend in Pirelli World Challenge. And boy, is that thing working on the streets.
Well, a street circuit always puts these suspensions to the ultimate test, Greg. Different track surfaces around here. There's patching, there's some rough spots, there's bumps, there's a few curbs as well. So you can see it here is working really, really well with these Pirelli tires.
Yeah, that team has that car dialed up, and PD has been pretty racy, sitting in second, getting a good start. And he's the consummate points gatherer. When he can win, he does. When he can't, he accrues points. And there is Lawson Aschenbach sitting in the third spot, and he has been across the continent, 3 times now, and he has got to be one tired puppy, but it does not show at all.
Well, I think the question is, when is Lawson Aschenbach going to wake up? And we mean literally, because he has a fast race car, and he's coming to the front.
And 2 cars back is Jack Baldwin, defending race winner in that Motul Porsche. Up front, overall, Alex Figge leads, Andy Lee in GTS. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being brought to you by Volvo, designed to win on race day, designed around you. By Stop Tech, world-class brake components and systems for racing cars and high-performance vehicles on the street and track. And by the Bob Bondurant School of High Performance Driving, internationally recognized as a leading authority on driver training, celebrating 45 years. The Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being brought to you by Motul, the official lubricant and brake fluid of the Pirelli World Challenge. By Eibach, the world leader in high performance suspension. And by Kia Motors and the Kia Optima. It's not your average midsize sedan. Welcome back to the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia. Continuing to watch this great battle unfolding. James Sofronis right there in that blue and white Mobil 1 Global Motorsports Group Audi R8 LMS, the Hawk Performance Corvette, the red and white machine of Mike Skeen, and right behind him, that beautiful silver Cadillac of Johnny O'Connell.
Looks like Sofronis' car is suddenly starting to come in a little bit, Greg. It's starting to handle a bit better. He's got a rhythm. You can see he's now... Oh, look at this move by Pilgrim. That was clinical. Boy, oh boy. Defending Long Beach race winner here. Andy's on the move. You can see that Sofronis has got some speed now. He wants to chase him.
These Cadillacs have a penchant for making big moves in turn 9. That's for sure. Nicely done by Andy Pilgrim. Now, let's see whether he's got enough to be able to run down Sofronis. And Alex Welch in that Spider Lasso Global Motorsports Group, that black and red Audi, is closing up as well, right in this hunt.
Audis are looking very strong here, Greg, and Alex has done a brilliant job. He had that little bobble through the fountain turn on the opening lap. He's starting to close in on this gaggle here, the battle for third.
Oh, Sofronis so close to the wall on the exit of turn 1. This is a tricky complex around that fountain, isn't it?
It really is. You know, it's so technical here. You can't afford to miss it by an inch. Those walls are unforgiving, Greg. One bobble, one little bit of lost focus, and your day can be over.
And as we're watching Andy in that beautiful Cadillac, Cadillac is incredibly focused on the fans, but they also understand it's all about owners, both present and maybe future.
We're really excited to be here to, again, defend our championship, especially this weekend where we're at the V-Series Car Corral.
You can see behind me all those Cadillac CTS-Vs. Well, we packed this corral full of V owners, and we get to spend the day with them.
Great opportunity for owners to get together, swap stories about what they've done to their cars, how they're driving their cars, where they've taken their cars.
It's great to watch that because that just shows the enthusiasm that they have for the product. So all of our races throughout the season, you'll see a big activation both from a hospitality with our owners, but also our displays that any customer that's going to the event can come through, check out Cadillac and enjoy.
Non-B Series owners have the opportunity to interact with our product firsthand. At our product display, we've got the full lineup displayed. We've got race simulators where you can test your skills on the track, just like Johnny and Andy do.
That's our strategy, bring it to a broader audience and let them know, not only is Cadillac in racing, but Cadillac's a performance brand as well.
It's been a great dynamic with Cadillac and the Pirelli World Challenge over the years, and it continues today in strength. Taking a look now in our GTS category, there it is. There's Andy Lee in that yellow and black Camaro. There is P.D. Cunningham in the Acura Honda Performance Developments Real-Time Racing Acura TSX. This team, this driver, just absolute legends in World Challenge, and they keep performing. They just never let up.
Well, PD always takes what he's got for the day. Do you know what I mean? If there's a podium, he's content with that. He'll take the race win, certainly, but he doesn't make mistakes, and that's what wins championship. He's won 7 of these titles, and right now he's chasing down Andy Lee, who's really deep on the brakes. And we see Brent Holden coming by in the GT Faster machine, certainly here down this straightaway. And up ahead, you can see young Andy Lee there into that Motul brake zone for turn 1.
Brent, one of the plethora of cars brought here by Global Motorsports Group. Most of them Audis are the R8 LMSs, many of which are running well inside that top 10. Then Brent, and they also filled Bill Ziegler in the GTS category. That's not what PD wanted to see, to have a GT car splitting him and his pursuit of Andy.
Well, right now it seems like Brent's got a pretty good pace through this tighter section, so I don't think it's really holding PD up too much. But certainly, if he was right on the tail of Andy Lee right now, he wouldn't want a car in between them. So only on lap 6, plenty of time to go. Petey's just biding his time, but right behind him, you can see that black Camaro lurking. Lawson Aschenbach is a man on the move.
Oh, he is, literally, in many ways this weekend, moving across the continent. But he has actually been setting some of the faster lap times in this class. He got it looked like a pretty good start, then got balked a little bit, and now is fighting his way up as we hop on board this incredible GoPro shot once again with our leader, Alex Figge, as he's exiting the fouling, working through this tight turns 4, 5, and 6 complex. This next corner coming up in particular, a bizarre corner, so off camber.
So off camber, and there you see Johnny O with the red mirrors in the caddy. They see a little bit of tire smoke there. Figge was deep in there. Just got in a little bit too deep, and that's the little mistake you can make. He's got to keep it together, maybe looking in his mirrors to see where Johnny O was. But what a performance by Figge this year. He has been absolutely sensational.
He has, just a little wide of the apex. That'll motivate Johnny O'Connell. And early in the going, let's take a look at the top 4 in each of our classes. GT, it's Figge, O'Connell, Sofronis, and Pilgrim. And in GTS, it is still Andy Lee over Cunningham, Aschenbach, and Baldwin. Great racing continues here in the GTS and GT categories of the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia. Keeping a close eye on this GTS battle for the lead, and it is closing up. There goes Andy Lee. There's the Acura of Cunningham. There is that green and black Black Dog Speed Shop Camaro of Lawson Aschenbach, and here is an interesting moment. The two teammates, that's Jack Baldwin and his teammate Buzz McCall, as they are making a move, and it is Baldwin right now, last year's race winner in this category, trying to get around his teammate, get him a lap down and continue that chase of that group up in front, Cal.
Well, Jack is the ultimate street fighter. He had the victory here last year, won the doubleheader both rounds at St. Petersburg, and has that championship lead, so he's very comfortable here with the proximity of the walls.
And as you can see on both Jack's car and Buzz McCall's car, Motul prominently sponsored. Not only are they great supporters of teams in the series, but of the series itself, and very enthusiastically.
Motul is having very spectacular times right now. We're going through some tremendous growth, and our entrance into the automotive segment the last several years has really gone fantastic. At the moment, we are expanding rapidly with distribution, adding distributors around the country. They, in turn, are adding dealers. Motul became an official sponsor of the Pirelli World Challenge in order to get out the performance message to the enthusiast customer base. People are seeing it on television. They're seeing the cars race. They're seeing the Motul logo on the drivers' shirts and hats. Combined with our regular advertising programs, the message is being heard loud and clear by many people. Through our racing heritage, And through our combination with the Pirelli World Challenge, we get great feedback and people are very satisfied with our products and they love them when they use them.
That's because they have great success when they use them. And now we're seeing the overall race leaders as they're working their way through some of the GTS category traffic right now. And traffic can certainly play its roles here in this race. And unfortunately, we get word that Randy Pobst is parked and out of the race. Let's go down to pit lane with Ashley Van Dyke, see if we can find out what happened, Ashley.
Randy Pobst, it looks like you had a real bad start and then some mechanical issues. What happened out there?
I'm really sorry to be missing this Pirelli World Challenge race at Long Beach. The K-Pax Volvo S60 is a great choice for this course, but when I dropped the clutch when the lights went out, the S60 barely moved, and it took me a little while to figure out what happened because it was moving but not going well, and I'm pulling gears, and it looks like we blew the clutch.
Thanks, Randy. Better luck to you and K-Pax at COTA.
Well, we're going to cheer for Alex. I think he's still leading.
Back to you, Greg and Calvin.
Randy, he certainly is, but Zafronis has to dynamite the brakes in traffic. Pilgrim gets a run, and is he going to? No, because more traffic. Boy, I'll tell you, it gives and it takes, doesn't it?
It really does. I tell you what, Zafronis looked to the inside at the hairpin on Tony Gables. Gables was going for the apex. He literally came to a stop, and Andy was ready to pounce.
Unbelievable what happens in traffic here. Nice job there. Glennon trying to leave the door open, but he eventually had to turn into the corner. And once again, Zafronis and Pilgrim, this is chess right now. High-speed chess, trying to figure out how to work by here. Ooh, Zafronis so close.
It's tight. Pilgrim looks for the gap. It's not there any longer, so this gaps the two guys. So Zafronis caught a bit of a break there, but he is really using the brakes on this Audi. He's really wagging the tail down in that Bootle brake zone, trying to keep Andy Pilgrim behind him, so they've calmed down a little bit, but this is fraud action here. You always expect it on the streets, particularly with traffic like we're seeing today.
Yeah, and the traffic up front, they just can't hit a disappear button, and they're told, drive your line, we'll get by you. But Andy Pilgrim right there was hoping that he would have left that door open just a little bit more. And now it is Mike Skeen and the Red Hawk Performance Corvette behind, trying to make the move and see if he's able to get through. He does, so he can now try and set sail on this guy, Andy Pilgrim. And Zafronis gets balked heading into the hairpin, Cal.
Same area of the racetrack, maybe one corner earlier, but he clears the traffic this time. But I tell you what, those caddies look awfully stable. Pilgrim's car and O'Connell's are handling really well here today.
That was Dane Moxlow's Mustang. Now we hop on board once again with Andy Lee leading in GTS, the Crown 7, Bondurant, Best IT, Chevy Camaro. Clear sailing for him right now, but in his mirrors, it's busy.
It really is. And whoa, you see him there get a little bit sideways there, coming through turn 7. Great part of the racetrack, down the hill to turn 8. This is really a critical corner as we see one of the GMG Audis go through there. Just the faster GT car gives him the way. But I tell you what, Andy Lee is a tremendous talent. I mean, he's got speed. He's learning his racecraft. He's racing against some of the best in the business, like P.D. Cunningham, Jack Baldwin. You're going to learn your craft really quickly racing against these guys every week.
Absolutely. That was the 32 of Brett Curtis in the United Steel Supply Spectre Racing Audi that came through. Aschenbach now has caught P.D. Cunningham, so that's close. And you can see that Roscoe's Mercedes from Black Swan Racing, that beautiful gull wing, is just in front, having a solid race. First season for Tim Pappas and that team here, carrying the Boston Be Strong logo on the front of the car to support all of the victims of the bombing. They're a very involved Boston-based team. But again, Aschenbach really has the bit now, trying to take a run on P.D. Cunningham. Not quite close enough here, but he closes up big on the brakes, Cal.
Really deep on the brakes there. So along shoreline drive, looked like the Camaro had a little bit of an edge on the Acura, the high-speed section, but PD's car is hooked up. They've been working hard on these Acuras, just trying to increase their performance level. They're used to winning championships, but they recognize that this competition level this year is tough.
It is tough, and let's take a look at the leaders in our two classes. Still Figgy in GT, and Andy Lee continues in GTS. The Pirelli World Challenge, the most intense and unique sports car racing on the planet. Multiple classes running at the same time, but in a sprint format. Some of the world's top manufacturers and the world's best drivers, all beginning with standing starts. It is truly sports car wars. For series and event ticket information, check out world-challenge.com. To watch replays of all the intense action, check out world-challengetv.com. And always check it out, Pirelli World Challenge on Facebook. The Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being brought to you by Hawk Performance. race proven, street legal. By GoPro, the world's most versatile camera. And by Optima batteries. With twice the life and 15 times the vibration resistance, Optima batteries really are the ultimate power source. We are back at the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia. Bit of smoke you saw up in the foreground, and that looks like perhaps a wounded Mustang. I believe that's the number 21 of Artie Topi, the Capaldi Racing Ford Mustang. And he had a couple of top 15s at St. Pete, but in trouble here. Nice job for the second-year driver to get out of the way, but this battle is heating up.
Oschenbach is on the prowl. We saw how close he was to P.D. Cunningham down in that brake zone on the previous lap. See, mid part of the straightaway, P.D. stretches a little bit, and this is where that horsepower should kick in from the Camaro.
Again, these great GoPro shots, just phenomenal images, and he's getting a bit of a run. Looks down to the inside.
Wow.
Is he there? He is through. Woo. And P.D. Cunningham, he came from Anaheim to make that pass. And I think P.D. Cunningham realized, nah, I'll leave that one open. He's bound and determined to get through. So now we have Camaro's really 1-2.
They are, and the question is now, can he chase down young Andy Lee? And what sort of pressure will that put on Andy Lee for the rest of this race? So Oschenbach really feeling it now. He's in the groove. He's woken up, as we said. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of sleep this weekend, chasing from coast to coast. But the car is hooked up, and I think this team is really going to be a factor in this championship this year as they really start to learn the ropes of this Camaro, switching from categories from GT to GTS this year. Got young Lawson Oschenbach team with Tony Gables this year.
And the first time these cars turned a competitive wheel was that first session at St. Pete, so they're doing their testing on the track, and boy, they are learning by leaps and bounds, aren't they? Here comes our overall race leader and GT leader. There's Alex Figge in the K-Pax Volvo. Right behind him, fourth in the GTS category, the Motul StopTex Fometics Porsche Cayman of last year's race winner, Jack Baldwin. But you can see the margin that those three in GTS have opened up.
You really can. I tell you what, Alex Figge is really keeping the pressure on. He does not want Johnny O'Connell to get any closer. He gets a little bit wide there at the hairpin, so he's pushing hard. And when you push that hard, you're going to make those little slips, but he's keeping it together, running really fast lap times, and he's maintaining that margin. Soon as O'Connell gets within about 2 or 3 car lengths, then Figge would have to change his racing lines into these corners, and that costs you lap time.
And by the way, just a quick mention here, as you see those two always evolving performance Fords of Rodas and Eric Davis, both of them rookies to the World Challenge. A couple of guys that's now right in front of, let's watch this. Figge's got to get by them. He gets through one, and boy, that was a very decisive move, Cal.
Had to do it. Yeah. Otherwise O'Connell would have been all over him, and hopefully that car is now gapped from O'Connell. Sliding down through here, and there you can see it. There's the ebb and flow of traffic on any race circuit, particularly a street circuit, can really cost you a lot of time.
And on the street circuit, you can see there are some curbs. The track changes. It puts the suspension through a pounding. That gives a company great feedback. They also like that feedback from the drivers. Here's more from Eibach.
Eibach saw the World Challenge Series as an unbelievable opportunity to let the people see that what we race on Sunday, we sell on Monday. We learned from this series how to build a better, more competitive spring, sway bar, and dampener for the street car, for our everyday fan. That's one of the really big reasons that we got involved.
When I got my first car, Eibach was always synonymous with racing, and so I was like, can't wait to get a set of Eibach springs on my car. And ever since then, I mean, everything I've ever raced, it's always been Eibach.
Eibach's had a long relationship with Bondurant, and the reason is we get to prove our suspension components and let people feel every day at their schools exactly what it's about.
We're coming out here to win, and it's our team, and we got to pick the best products. With the Camaro, how it's set up, you put Eibach on there, and it's a winning car.
We're here to win every race. That puts us in good alignment with what Eibach stands for.
At Eibach, we look for racers that have the will to win, and obviously Andy and Harry both have the will to win.
Well, those best IT Camaros are awfully effective. Andy Lee, proof of that, leading in GTS right now. Watching some of the other cars in the GTS battle, there's Buzz McCall in that Motul StopTech Porsche. You see the number 11, that is Tony Gaples of the Black Dog Speed Shop. Mark Clennon behind him in the Champ BMW. These guys going for it. Nice to see Buzz racing again. Had a great racing career, then became a team owner in the glory days of Trans Am, fielding his teammate now, Jack Baldwin, among others. and these guys having a good little battle a bit further back in the pack. And by the way, that Audi R8 LMS we saw just up on the top of the frame, that's Duncan Endy, the Standor Merchant Services car. Right now, one of the fastest cars on the track in any class, coming up after a tough start.
Yeah, he is laying down some fast laps, having qualified very, very well. And coming off a podium finish here yesterday in the ALMS Championship in the LMPC category.
Right here, you see the overall race leader going by our GTS race leader. That's Figge going by Andy Lee, and O'Connell wants to get by Andy quickly. He's going to duck to the inside, try and make that pass. He's got the horsepower and makes it clean. Andy, pretty savvy racer. Dip that brake a little early, let him go through. You can see him get on the throttle aggressively, though. A little wiggle out of that Camaro.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, though, O'Connell is looking tough. I mean, that car looks really settled under brake. You can see it right there, down at the end of the back straightaway, down into turn 9. And Figge is pushing hard. He is really leaning on his Volvo to maintain this gap over Johnny O. But look at Johnny O deep on the brakes there. Oh, problems down in turn 1, it looks like.
That is Clennon. We just saw him, that Champ BMW. You can see him trying to pull that fire release on the car, the smoke coming out the front. He is concerned big time right now, trying to get that window net down, get out of that car. Not exactly sure what happened. It looks like damage. He's in the wall, Cal.
Yeah, big front end damage here. I'm not sure if he's agitated, whether someone else is involved there, or whether he just wants to get out, feeling that the car could be on fire potentially.
Yeah, you always want to err on the side of safety there. The problem is you don't want to get out with traffic coming on here. So you can see him. He's trying to get out, but he's on the radio. Look at the mirrors, and it is a full course caution. And that means the iCar onboard safety lights have come on, provided by Motorsport Safety Electronics. And Cal, here's the contact, severe.
Yeah, that was a nasty hit. He gets it wrong on the entry to turn 1 and misses that tire bundle, which is supposed to capture the cars, but heavy impact with the concrete.
Great response by the safety crews. We're under caution. We're going to step away. It is currently Figge leading O'Connell, Sofronis, and Pilgrim in GT, and in GTS at the halfway point, Lee over Aschenbach, Cunningham, and Baldwin. The full course caution continues here at the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia. One of the great developments this year for the series is the iCar. That's the in-cockpit safety light system that's provided by Motorsport Safety Electronics. It's going to be a moment here, so let's talk about social media. World-Challenge.com. You can go there for all the latest news and views on the Pirelli World Challenge. How about World-ChallengeTV.com? You can check out cool in-car videos, driver interviews, watch this complete race and all the other Pirelli World Challenge races online right at that site. Go to Facebook, search Pirelli World Challenge fan page there, interact with other World Challenge fans and post your race pictures and video. And of course, you can also interact on Twitter. Just join the World Challenge Twitter account at twitter.com/WC Racing and receive instant updates on race weekends from the series. Lots of ways to stay in touch. You know, we're watching Mark Wilkins there in that Kia Optima having a very good day. This is Kia's home race, Kia Motors America. And also, they build a great race car, but they're pretty social savvy as well.
This weekend, we're hosting a couple hundred people from our North American headquarters up the road in Irvine, and then we'll have some dealers here as well as some media guests and other VIPs to cheer on our guys in the number 36 and number 38 Optimas. This is all part of an expansion of our presence in the sport, but then we're also working on some interactive kind of marketing programs to leverage our involvement with the sport as well. So we've done a deal with C Games and their Facebook social media game, which is called Car Town. It's got 50 million people all around the world who are participating, and the Optima is now one of the cars that are available to put into your virtual garage in the Car Town game. Beyond that, we also did a deal with iRacing.com, which is a motorsport simulation service. And the Optima will also be a choice of cars that you can run in that simulation and race against others online all around the world. So we're really excited. We've got a lot going on, trying to dial up our involvement in motorsport.
And they're doing just that, and Nick Janssen has come from the back of the pack into the top 10. We're about to dial up the races. We are going to go back to green here at the Roar by the Shore. Figge trying to get the drive, trying to line him up and get the launch, but you can't even see O'Connell. He is so close behind. Then Sofronis, and this caution, Cal, has bunched things up.
It has, but look at this. P.D. Cunningham has got a tremendous start and just blasted by both Lee and Aschenbach for the lead.
And it looks as though Aschenbach got around Lee as well. Now Lee's going to try and counter move and follow. What a great move by Lee. Now can he do it, or does he have to give way to Aschenbach? They're still side by side finally.
Oh,
Lee says no.
Aschenbach gets in the scheme. Two battles here.
Oh, man.
Oh, look at this. Welch down the inside on Andy Lee.
Oh, and that got Andy Lee moved offline just a little bit. See if Welch completes the pass. He does. Boy, that's not what Lee wanted to see. That lets those two GTS leaders not only gap him, but have a car in between, Cal.
Yeah, that was not what he wanted to see, certainly. So he's gone from first to third within the sake of half a lap here. What a restart by Petey Cunningham. He just blew by those guys. There's a bit of a stack up with some of the GT cars as well. We're now on board with Andy. Critical corner here, right turn 8.
Ooh, he got the wall, Cal.
Oh my goodness, he really clouded that wall, Greg. I wonder if he's going to get some suspension damage from that. That was a big hit.
He's slowing, yeah.
Oh, look at the damage. Oh, that's disappointing. You have to think about the frustration factor where he seemed to be in control of this race. Got the caution and suddenly gets demoted down to third spot.
And I wonder if when he got offline there a little bit, if he picked up some junk on those Pirelli P0s, as good as they are, when they get debris gathered up on them, the grip goes away for a moment.
Absolutely, you've got to be so careful. And we talk about focus on one of these street circuits. I'm not saying that he lost focus, but certainly he got shuffled back there in the pack a little bit, was pushing hard, and I think he was determined to get a good exit off turn 8, but just run wide there, just clouts that left front suspension.
So he's done. Huge implications in points. He was certain to be a player this year in that GTS championship battle, and now this battle, top 4, covered by the proverbial blanket here, but Figgy starting to draw away once again. Boy, that Volvo looking awfully strong right now, but the battle behind him is on. Let's take a look. It's Alex Figgy, as we said, leading overall in GT, and Petey Cunningham now in GTS. And the Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being brought to you by Grassroots Motorsports, the hardcore sports car magazine. By Privacy Star, blocks unwanted calls and text messages and lets you file complaints directly with the Federal Trade Commission. And by Racekeeper, the industry's leading video data logger, because Racekeeper helps you learn to drive faster. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships are being brought to you by Mercedes-Benz and AMG Customer Sports. By the Cadillac V-Series, the 556 horsepower CTS-V coupe, sedan, and wagon, the world's fastest family of cars. And by Honda Performance Development. The battling continues at the front in the overall and GT battle here at the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia. It is still Alex Figgy. There is Johnny O'Connell, then James Sofronis, and right behind them is Andy Pilgrim in the Team Cadillac as they head one more time down into the turn that is our Motul braking zone. Boy, Figgy's so deep on the brakes.
He has really got his head down. I tell you what, he is pushing really hard. We're seeing slipping on the entry of these corners, but he's keeping it all together. Here comes Aschenbach. We've seen him make this move before a little bit earlier in the race. Dancing on the pedal there. Petey tries to keep him behind, side by side through one. Awesome stuff by two of the best. Great action there.
That's two great drivers at their top of their game. That's how you race, folks. As close as it gets. I mean, Aschenbach over the curves and they didn't touch. It can be done. These two guys are showing how.
Well, I think Aschenbach thought, I've made this move before. I think Petey just took it in a little bit deep. Then suddenly Aschenbach had nowhere to go. He had to woe it down, but a brilliant job. We see Duncan Hendy in one of those GMG Audis. He's having a great day, really running fast lap times right now.
Right now has the fastest lap of the race and a new race lap record in the process in his charge back up to the front. We get the report it was actually a brake malfunction. He had a sticking brake in the early going, got that sorted, and boy, he has been on a tear ever since, and now he's gotten by Aschenbach. Let's see if he's going to be able to get by PD down into turn 9. Blue flags flying. Great work by the SCCA corner workers around this track, and he's through and clean.
Petey just waited for him, then he tucked immediately back in. He wanted to get back with his business here because he realized that Aschenbach is close. He'd ideally like to gap him a little bit through 9 and 10, but Aschenbach's right there, really, really close here on the launch down Shoreline Drive.
Well, it looks like Petey, a little bit lighter weight of that car, squirts him out of the corner a little bit, but then the horsepower of the heavier Camaro coming into play. Lawson, he's coming. He's closing up every bit here, but he's a bit... Oh, and he makes the move again down to the inside. Let's see if he can do it this time. And he got enough inside that time. Petey said, I'm had, and left him the gap, and Aschenbach is your new leader in GTS.
Yeah, he's just that little bit closer, and that was what enabled him to get that move done. Just great racing between these pair today.
And Hawk Performance, one of the great partners of this series, not only do they make hot brakes, but they've got a cool promotion.
The World Challenge is a fantastic sports car racing product. The product on the racetrack is unlike anything else you'll see. From a technological standpoint, it's great for us because what we develop back in the lab can be tested on our race cars here, and then we take that to the mass market. It's a great branding exercise for us. It's a great sport to be involved with, but it's also a great thing technically for our development. Here, for the first time, we're launching our Corvette sweepstakes, which we've called Hand Me the Keys. More information on our website, hawkperformance.com. But the purpose of that sweepstakes is to showcase some of our products. We're launching for the first time a caliper system, which is brand new for Hawk. So it's important for our fans on the racetrack to be able to see some of our parts on a street car as well. Pirelli World Challenge offers great fan access, and we're excited to be part of that. From Hawk Performance's standpoint, this sweepstakes is something unlike we've ever done before.
Boy, innovative in terms of the parts they build and also their promotions. That's pretty amazing. And win a vet, you can pretend you're Mike Skeen.
Look good in your garage, I would think, right, Greg?
It looked fabulous in my garage, absolutely. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be driven anywhere like this guy gets this Hawk Performance Corvette around the track. That's Lou Gelati's Camaro, and he has backed it down into the wall. Again, that same spot, just missing that tire bundle down in turn 1, Cal.
Yeah, that's where Clennon had his problem, but Lou has backed it, and you can see the rear bodywork is deranged.
Did you see that? Was that Figgy?
Because Post is out of this race. It is. It's our race leader. Problems down in turn 1.
Unbelievable. He has found the wall as well. And I wonder if, we see Lou off, if something from Lou's incident.
Oh, there's huge damage, Greg, both front and rear. Look at that.
Boy, he's gotten both ends. Oh, man, huge development potential, huge hit here. See if we can see what happens, Cal.
Coming down into the brake zone. Oh, he's already sideways there. He just loses the car completely, and just looks like he's not slowing down, Greg. Just a huge rate of speed there down into turn 1. See a bit of a flash fire on the right rear corner. On board with him now. Oh, and car just turns. There was failure of some description there for sure.
Yeah, it just completely, suddenly broke loose on him. Oh, did you hear him? I think he said, I had a brake failure.
Scary, scary stuff. I mean, when you hit the brake pedal, you just expect to get that instant retardation, and when there's nothing at home, boy, oh boy, that is a scary moment.
Especially on a street course at speed, those walls lurking. So apparently totally unrelated to Gelati's incident. First thought was,
look at this. This is Johnny O. Look at the fluid coming out the front end of
Johnny's car. Did he collect something from one of those 2 incidents?
Well, there's been a lot of action down in turn 1. I mean, Gelati was off down there. There could have been some debris from him. Figgy kind of lost control on the straightaway, essentially never even made it through the turn, but Johnny was close behind him, so just have to wait and see if this develops any further. But 5 laps to go. Yeah, Johnny O's in the catbird position here to bring it home, but
we're under caution
now.
Yeah, don't see any issue there.
Hopefully
we're under
not
caution.
Out of fluid.
Yeah, that would be the bad
concern.
news.
See his windshield there. He's got a spray up on there too.
So things getting curiouser and curiouser as this caution continues. Meanwhile, see if we can. Whoa, looks like Lou may have had some help.
Well, Kevin Gleason trying to fight his way back through the pack. Qualified on the outside of the front row, but you see that gets in really deep. Probably a little bit too late to make this move on Lou Gelati. He's not going to give it to you. Closes the door and contact there. And Kevin was really recovering from some clutch issues at the start. First few laps, he was hampered by that. But here we see Figgy waving to the crowd. What a disappointing end to this race. He was really, I wouldn't say he was dominating, but he certainly had the point and was feeling the pressure from O'Connell, but doing a brilliant job. Second weekend in a row that he's had major disappointment, Greg.
Yeah, good to see the wave from the crowd, but I think his eyes told the story. That was a ride. It's now O'Connell leading over Safronis, Pilgrim, and Skeen, but O'Connell might be in trouble. And in GTS, Aschenbach, Cunningham, Baldwin, and Brandon Davis in the Aston Martin. Coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships is being brought to you by Audi Sport Customer Racing. By the Cadillac V-Series, the 556 horsepower CTSV coupe, sedan, and wagon, the world's fastest family of cars. And by Ford, go further. Well, we are continuing under caution here at the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia. Those two incidents just takes a while to clean up. You can see the waving yellow there along with the full course caution. So these onboard iCar safety lights provided by Motorsport Safety Electronics continuing, as well as these corner workers, to let these drivers know the situation. And you can see there just went Robert Stout in the Scion. That has been great news. They've struggled to keep that car running with this huge development in this engine compartment, and they are running right to the end of the race. And you can see a number of the other cars in the field that are having a great run. There goes Brandon Davis in that Hewlett-Packard Adobe Road Winery Aston Martin. Great to have that mark. Hopefully that will translate into a car or two for the rest of the season. They are certainly working on that, to be sure.
I've been looking closely at the front end of Johnny O's car. I can't see any water coming out of there now, Greg, so it could be good news, could be bad.
Absolutely. And I think Ashley Van Dyke has caught up with Dax Robb, crew chief for Alex Figge. Ashley?
That's right, Greg. Alex Figge was leading the race, just went into turn one wall. What happened out there, Dax?
He said he lost his brakes or something went wrong with the brakes. I could see it started to slide sideways as soon as he hit the brakes and knocked the wind out of him pretty good. Couldn't see what happened from there. He's okay, though.
That was a huge hit, and that's the good news. We saw him hop on board. It's kind of mandatory you get on board the ambulance whenever you've had contact just to get checked out. But he gave that wave, and you can see the safety lights are still on, and we've only got a couple. Oh, and there's more smoke now emanating from Johnny's car. I think it's the bad news scenario.
Yeah, I think it potentially is the bad news. So he's got one lap to just try and limp that caddy around and try and claim another victory here for himself. But it's going to be a long lap for Johnny O. But getting back to the Figge incident, we saw that flash fire, Greg, on the right rear. So I'd imagine if there was some kind of brake issue, that was where it was coming from.
Makes sense, and the car just slewed sideways when that brake went away, and the other side grabbing big time. And you can see everybody sees that white flag along with the full course cautions. We never hate to finish a race under caution, but this is a pure safety issue. And we are on board right now. I think we are on board with James Sofronis.
And he's staying well back from Johnny O because he can see the smoke.
There is Johnny, and yeah, Johnny's just trying. You can see that smoke's getting thick.
Ooh, that sounds ugly. That sounds ugly. We talk about this being a long lap for Johnny O. He's got to dig deep and pull out all of the tricks in his book to get this caddy around for another mile or so.
Oh, that smoke is getting thicker. Now both pipes, it just let go, I think, Cal. Unbelievable. Under a full course caution, guaranteed to win, and it's let go because of an apparent issue with the radiator and losing all that water.
And James Sofronis, he won here in 2009. He talked about it in his pole-winning interview. I'd love to do it again. Unless he has drama here, it looks like victory is going to go his way.
This is incredible, and Andy Pilgrim is right there, but there's nothing he can do. It's a full course caution and the white flag, and if James can just bring it around, he's got his second win at Long Beach here, and there is the sad image. Johnny O'Connell, what, Cal, half a lap from victory at Long Beach.
Incredible turn of events here. First Figge leading the race. Second weekend in a row following the DNF at St. Pete that he's had drama with the car. There you see Johnny O looking at the front end. Maybe he feels he did run over some debris. Maybe he felt it, Greg, that he actually ran over something. Looking for some damage to the front end of the car. But that caddy is just a smoking heap right now. And Sofronis just needs to stroke it through these last couple of corners. He's going to get another win here on home ground.
And this is the spot. This is the one spot he struggled a little bit with traffic. No issues today. The only car in front of him is the pace car. Sofronis out of the last turn and well under the speed they'd all love to be running. But James Sofronis is going to get his second Long Beach win. The team based a half an hour south of here in Santa Ana. A special moment. Huge contingent of customers and fans and family here. Just incredible. There is Aschenbach taking the win, Petey on his shoulder going, hey, we'd love to have raced this one out. And there it is, the checker flag flies. Huge developments under caution. This is unbelievable.
Such a shame, though, because this was going to be a barn burner right to that checkered flag if we'd seen some green flag running in these last 5 laps or so. But Jimmy Sofronis, he is pumped up. He's got a lot of fans. He's the local favorite, really, and he wanted this one bad. We talk about the magnitude of this race here at Long Beach. This is the one. This is the jewel you want to win on this championship season.
You see he's also sporting the Children's Tumor Foundation on the car. They've been very involved with that charity here, certainly this weekend, but in general. There's Pilgrim going to get that second place. There's Stout, and it's so great to see Robert Stout and that Ken Stout Racing Scion get that car home to a finish. There's Tim Pappas in that beautiful Mercedes, Craig Stanton in that blue Porsche, Lawson Aschenbach, first win for Black Dog Speed Shop, and in GTS. That's a great story.
What a weekend for him, just bouncing between the coasts.
6,600 miles, something like that.
Incredible stuff. And here we see Johnny O. He's going to looking for a ride back.
Just incredible. There he's cheering on some of the guys.
It's the Aschenbach, I think, fellow GM driver he's given the pump to.
So let's take a look at our unofficial results here. Sofronis over Pilgrim. Mike Skeen, the podium. Duncan Andy did get the new track record, race record on his charge back up to fourth. Great story there. And there you see Welch, Bell back a little bit, and Randy Pope's having that mechanical, that tough championship break for Randy right now in terms of points. In GTS?
Well, we said after St. Pete, look out for Lawson Aschenbach, and it didn't take him long to get to the top of the table. Brilliant victory here today. That's going to close down the points as well.
Baldwin, 2 wins and a third. Good points day for him as well. Here you see 11th on back, and you can see some of the guys, obviously, that struggled a little bit, but bringing it home. And then, of course, Lou Gelati with that late race incident, not necessarily of his doing. Andy Lee, that's huge.
That was a big championship moving moment as well. I mean, he is going to be a factor this season, but you can't afford to have days like today.
And it is about time to get down to our post-race interviews as James Sofronis has figured out the donuts. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships is being brought to you by Honda Performance Development, by Porsche, and by the Fiat 500 Abarth. We are back at the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach, presented by Kia, where I don't think I've ever had this kind of a development under a white and double caution, guaranteeing the order you're running in as a win and having so much change on the end of it, and here's why.
Well, this is the reason for this final caution here. Alex Figge heading down into turn one, lose the back end of the car, and you can see parts flying. That could actually be a brake rotor from that right rear corner, believe it or not. Then we see white flag is out. Johnny O is leading, but there is problems with that Caddy motor. He is trying to limp it home as he comes through turn 5 here. It just grinds to a halt, literally, turning the victory over to James Sofronis, the local boy.
Yeah, unbelievable. He just parked it, and that was it. Fortunately for Cadillac, Andy Pilgrim there to pick up second place points in terms of the manufacturer championship battle. But for Johnny O'Connell, unbelievable. And a equally unbelievable development, but on the positive side for James Sofronis. His brother's here this weekend, and this whole Global Motorsports Group team started years ago as Greek Brothers Racing, and nice to see him get the win with his brother here as you see Johnny taking a look at things. After it was done, Jeff Lepper is down in Victory Circle.
Unbelievable! Oh, man.
Well, James, we've had races won the last lap, but that was a different kind of last lap victory. Tell us about it.
Well, I tell you, I guess the luck is on my side. This has happened twice in 2 races. And I tell you what, it's really a testament to the GMT guys. It's all about prepping the cars and really doing what you got to do. And I mean, obviously, just being there at the end, you know, it's never over till it's over. And I mean, I feel bad. I hope Alex is okay. I think he just caught some oil on a Camaro that lost his motor into one. That was scary. I was kind of looking left and right behind Johnny to see where he's going to be so I could make my move. And then there was shrapnel everywhere. I ran over a bunch of stuff, and I'm lucky I didn't have the same issue. Obviously, Johnny caught some debris, and then it's just water started spraying on my windshield. I couldn't see out of my windshield. I couldn't see with the glare on the windshield. I was just, and all of a sudden, his car started smoking and radio in. I'm like, guys, he may not make it. And I was like, let's go back to green because, as we know, the Audi's strong at the end. I hope Alex is okay. Johnny was a great race. I was waiting for an awesome charge at the end. It's exactly what we were waiting for. Didn't happen, but hey, with a win like this and our home crowd with all our fans and friends, this is a great result. We can't ask for more.
And it may have been fortunate, but if he hadn't fought his way into second, he doesn't get the win. And as we look at the GT Drivers' Points presented by Volvo, he now has a comfortable lead of sorts over Andy Pilgrim, with Figge in third, then O'Connell and Skeen.
And in the GT Manufacturer point standings, it's Audi on top on the back of 2 victories so far this year, followed by Caddy, Volvo, Chevy, AMG Customer Sports, and Porsche.
And let's take a look at our Cadillac move of the race, and not one but 2 awesome passes by Awesome Lawson.
Yeah, this was the earlier one, and then he basically cut and pasted it a little bit later in the race to get the victory here today.
And here's a look at Lawson taking the checkered flag, and Jeff Lepper is with a delighted and I'm sure exhausted guy.
Lawson Aschenbach, are you finally awake?
Yeah, barely. I need a bed right now, but man, I feel like I finally got the monkey off my back. Ever since we've been coming to Long Beach, something has always happened, and finally today everything happened for us. And I gotta say thank you to everybody at Black Dog Speed Shop. Our team Chevy Camaro was awesome all day. All our sponsors, Essential Water, everybody. I'm just so thrilled to be here right now. It's a big win for us, a big win for GM, and I think we're sitting pretty right now in points in manufacturers.
They are indeed. Here are the GTS driver points presented by Volvo, and it's Baldwin still leading, but Lawson is right there. Petey Cunningham always in the top 3, then Wilkins and Nick Janssen.
And in the GTS manufacturer points presented by Kia, it's Chevrolet on top with 25 points, followed by Acura, Kia, and Ford yet to put points on the board.
And let's take a look at some of our very specialty awards. The Sunoco Hard Charger Award goes to Damian Faulkner. He had, look at that launch that he got going around a couple other cars in that Vizio Hulu Plus Aston Martin. We certainly hope he's back. The Kia turning point of the race, that's obvious.
Wow, you don't want these moments, and he's had two weekends in a row. He won the first round at St. Petersburg and then led the next 2 races, but didn't get to see the checkered flag, Greg.
Now let's take a look at our Motul fast laps of the race. It was Duncan Endy, as we said, with a new track record in GT, and Lawson Aschenbach on that great charge in GTS. And as we take a look at our Kia Rewind and some of the moments that have unfolded during the course of this race, you know, from the start, which was interesting with Pope's issues, you can see the Black Swan. Mercedes having an issue as well. They rebounded other than Pope's and had some great races. But the fascinating thing is what's coming up in our next show, Cal. The first ever appearance of the Pirelli World Challenge at the brand new Circuit of the Americas will be in our next show.
Well, everyone is so pumped to get to COTA. I mean, whenever a Formula One race visits a circuit, every race car driver wants to go there as well. And these guys are going to have a chance to do that here shortly.
And also in that same show, we will have coverage from the Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle and another visit by the Pirelli World Challenge to that legendary venue. It's going to be a jam-packed show, but again, we go to that great track at COTA and then another street course.
Yeah, and certainly GM would certainly like to have another day like they had last year where they won both the GT and the GTS categories.
And there you see the dates for the coverage. There you see the celebrations as the champagne flew in Victory Circle. And James Sofronis and Lawson Aschenbach, congratulations. See you next time, everybody.